In a world where ancient traditions dance with mountain mists, where happiness is measured not in gold but in the contentment of the soul, lies a kingdom that time forgot to change. This is Bhutan, the last Shangri-La, where prayer flags flutter like colorful whispers against the Himalayan sky, where monasteries cling to impossible cliffsides, and where an entire nation has chosen wisdom over wealth. Join us as we unveil the secrets of the world's last Buddhist kingdom. From the sacred halls of Tiger's Nest to the hidden valleys where blue poppies bloom, from the ancient dzongs that guard timeless wisdom to the faces of people who have mastered the art of living in harmony with their land. This is more than a journey through breathtaking landscapes. This is a pilgrimage to a place where gross national happiness matters more than gross national product. Stay with us, and discover why this mystical kingdom might just hold the keys to happiness we've all been searching for. They call it Drukyul, the land of the thunder dragon. And as our aircraft descends through the morning mist toward Paro Airport, one of the world's most challenging landings, it becomes clear why this kingdom remained hidden from the outside world for so long. Nestled between the giants of China and India, this landlocked jewel spans just 14,824 square miles, smaller than Switzerland, yet containing within its borders an ecosystem so diverse it defies imagination. From subtropical plains in the south to peaks that scrape 24,000 feet into the heavens, Bhutan is a vertical world, a kingdom that exists in layers. For centuries, the outside world knew Bhutan only through whispered legends, tales of a mystical realm where happiness reigned supreme, where Buddhism wasn't just a religion but a way of breathing, living, being. Today, as we finally step foot on this sacred soil, those legends begin to unfold as living truth. The moment you arrive in Bhutan, you understand that this is not just another destination. The very air carries the weight of ancient wisdom. Every building, painted in earthy tones of ochre and crimson, seems to grow organically from the landscape. There are no billboards here, no neon signs, just an elegant harmony between human habitation and the natural world that has remained unbroken for over a millennium. Story 2: Keepers of the Last Shangri-La. To understand Bhutan, you must first understand its people, the Bhutanese, who call themselves Drukpa, the dragon people. In their faces, etched by mountain winds and painted by high-altitude sun, you read stories of a civilization that chose a different path. Here lives Karma, a 67-year-old monastery keeper in Thimphu. Each morning before dawn, he climbs the ancient steps to light butter lamps, just as his grandfather did, and his great-grandfather before him. In his weathered hands lie prayers that have been whispered for 8 centuries, traditions passed down not through books, but through the sacred act of living. Happiness, Karma tells us through his gentle smile, is not something you find. It is something you are. This philosophy, this profound simplicity, runs through Bhutanese culture like a golden thread. It's why, in 1972, the fourth Dragon King declared that gross national happiness was more important than gross national product, making Bhutan the first and only country to prioritize the well-being of its people over economic growth. Story 3: Temples in the Clouds. 3,000 feet above the Paro Valley, suspended between earth and sky like a prayer made manifest, stands Paro Taksang, the Tiger's Nest Monastery. This is perhaps the most iconic image of Bhutan, but photographs cannot capture what your soul experiences when you first lay eyes upon this architectural miracle. The pilgrimage to reach Tiger's Nest is not for the faint of heart. A 3-hour trek through pine forests and past waterfalls tests both body and spirit. But this is intentional, the journey itself is the meditation. Each step up the mountain path is a step deeper into contemplation. Legend tells us that Guru Rinpoche, the patron saint of Bhutan, flew here on the back of a flying tiger in the 8th century and meditated in this very cave for 3 years, 3 months, 3 weeks, and 3 days. Whether you believe in flying tigers or not, standing in this sacred space, you understand that some places exist beyond the realm of ordinary experience. The monastery clings to the cliff face as if it grew there naturally, an extension of the rock itself. Inside, the air is thick with incense and centuries of devotion. Monks move through these halls like living prayers, their burgundy robes a flash of color against ancient wooden walls painted with deities and demons, protectors and wisdom beings. Story 4, the capital of gross national happiness. Thimphu, the world's only capital city without traffic lights, awakens each morning to the sound of temple bells rather than car horns. Here, in this valley at 7,700 feet above sea level, modernity and tradition dance together in perfect harmony. The weekend market explodes with colors that seem painted by the gods themselves, crimson chilies dried by mountain sun, wheels of yak cheese aged in high-altitude caves, hand-woven textiles that carry patterns passed down through generations. This is not tourism, this is life continuing as it has for centuries. At the National Memorial Chorten, built in 1974 to honor the third Dragon King, the faithful perform kora, circumambulation, spinning prayer wheels and murmuring mantras as they walk clockwise around the sacred structure. Each rotation is believed to generate merit, accumulating positive karma like interest in a spiritual bank account. What strikes you most about Thimphu is what's missing, the chaos that defines most developing world capitals. There are no slums here, no beggars on the streets. The traditional architecture is not museum piece preservation but living, breathing necessity. Every building, from government offices to shopping centers, must conform to traditional Bhutanese design principles. Chapter 5, Fortress of the Dharma. Where the Pho Chu and Mo Chu rivers merge, the Father River and Mother River, stands Punakha Dzong, the Palace of Great Happiness. Built in 1637 without using a single nail, this fortress monastery represents the pinnacle of Bhutanese architecture and the heart of the nation's spiritual governance. A dzong is more than a building, it's a philosophy made manifest in wood and stone, part fortress, part monastery, part government seat. These massive structures represent the unique Bhutanese system where temporal and spiritual power coexist in harmony. The same halls that echo with monks' chants during religious festivals also witness government meetings and judicial proceedings. In the West, we separate church and state. In Bhutan, they dance together. The abbot of a dzong holds equal authority with the district governor, and decisions affecting the community are made with both material welfare and spiritual well-being in mind. As evening light turns the dzong's white walls golden, and prayer flags snap in the mountain breeze, you understand that this is not just impressive architecture, it's a testament to a civilization that never forgot the sacred dimension of human existence. Story 6, The Last Forbidden Kingdom. Until 1974, Bhutan was completely closed to outsiders. Even today, tourism is strictly regulated through a high-value, low-impact policy that limits visitors while ensuring those who do arrive contribute meaningfully to the kingdom's well-being. This is not a theme park version of an ancient culture, this is the real thing, preserved through conscious choice rather than isolation. In the remote village of Yura, at 11,000 feet in the Bumtang Valley, life continues much as it has for centuries. Families still live in traditional houses built without blueprints, following construction knowledge passed from father to son. They grow barley, buckwheat, and potatoes in terraced fields carved into impossible slopes, their agricultural calendar determined by Buddhist festivals and lunar cycles. Here, happiness is not the absence of hardship but the presence of meaning. These mountain people face brutal winters, challenging harvests, and geographic isolation that would defeat lesser spirits. Yet in their faces, you see a contentment that seems to elude much of the developed world. Story 7: Guardians of the Earth. Bhutan is the world's only carbon-negative country, absorbing more carbon dioxide than it produces. By constitutional mandate, at least 60% of the kingdom must remain forested forever. This isn't just environmental policy, it's spiritual duty. In Buddhism, all life is interconnected, and harming the earth is harming oneself. In Royal Manas National Park, Bengal tigers prowl through forests that have never known the sound of chainsaws. Himalayan black bears forage in meadows where no roads will ever be built. Over 700 bird species, including the rare black-necked crane considered sacred by the Bhutanese, find sanctuary in this mountain kingdom. The Bhutanese don't see themselves as owners of this land but as its guardians, temporary custodians responsible for passing it intact to future generations. This philosophy has created one of the world's most biodiverse mountain ecosystems, where snow leopards still hunt on peaks visible from valleys where elephants bathe. High in the alpine meadows, Bhutan's national flower, the blue poppy, blooms for just a few weeks each year. Locals consider it a blessing to witness this ethereal flower, whose petals seem to capture the very essence of Himalayan sky. Like Bhutan itself, it's beautiful, rare, and impossible to cultivate anywhere else. Story 8: Festivals of the Spirit. Once a year, the courtyards of Bhutan's dzongs explode with color and sound as communities gather for Tsechu, religious festivals that blend devotion, celebration, and social bonding into joyous spiritual theater. Monks emerge from their meditation halls transformed into dancing deities, their elaborate brocade costumes and hand-carved masks representing protector spirits, wisdom beings, and cosmic forces. These are not performances but prayers made visible, sacred dances that have remained unchanged for centuries. Entire families dress in their finest gos and kiras, traditional robes that are not costumes but daily wear, required by law for all Bhutanese in public spaces. Grandmothers teach grandchildren the meaning of each dance movement, ensuring that cultural knowledge passes unbroken to the next generation. To witness a Tsechu is to understand that for the Bhutanese, the boundary between sacred and secular doesn't exist. These festivals are simultaneously religious observance, cultural celebration, and social bonding, all wrapped into experiences that feed the soul as much as they delight the senses. Story 9: The Philosophy of Enough. In a world obsessed with more money, more possessions, more stimulation, Bhutan practices the radical philosophy of enough. This isn't poverty but conscious simplicity, the understanding that contentment comes not from what you have but from appreciating what you already possess. Bhutanese homes are built from local materials using traditional techniques passed down through generations. There's no rush to modernize for its own sake, no pressure to acquire the latest gadgets or follow global fashion trends. Instead, there's a profound appreciation for craftsmanship, durability, and beauty that emerges from function. The concept of individual success at others' expense is alien here. Communities still practice labor sharing for harvest time, house construction, and religious ceremonies. When someone prospers, the community prospers. When someone suffers, the community suffers. Story 10: Hidden Valleys and Sacred Peaks. Beyond the well-traveled paths lie Bhutan's hidden treasures, secret valleys that even most Bhutanese have never seen, sacred peaks that pierce the sky like earthbound prayers, and landscapes so pristine they seem untouched by time itself. In the remote Lunana region, at 14,000 feet above sea level, nomadic communities live closer to the sky than to their nearest neighbors. Here, yak herders maintain a lifestyle unchanged for millennia, moving their animals between high pastures according to seasons and ancient migration patterns. The Snowman Trek, one of the world's most challenging high-altitude walks, reveals Bhutan's wild heart. For 25 days, trekkers traverse 11 high-altitude passes, witness 7,000-meter peaks reflected in glacial lakes, and discover solitudes so complete they seem to exist outside of time itself. Every peak, every lake, every prominent rock formation has its own deity, its own spiritual significance. The Bhutanese don't climb mountains for sport. Mountains are the homes of gods, deserving respect rather than conquest. Story 11. Faces of the Dragon Kingdom. To truly know Bhutan, you must know its people, not as exotic subjects but as fellow human beings who have chosen a different way of walking through this world. There's Sonam, a young teacher in a remote village school, who could earn 10 times her salary in India but chooses to stay because she believes education should serve the soul as well as the mind. There's Tenzin, an elderly weaver whose fingers hold the memory of patterns her grandmother's grandmother knew, keeping alive textile traditions that are themselves prayers. There's Jigme, a teenager in Thimphu who speaks 4 languages and dreams of studying abroad, yet wears traditional dress with pride and begins each day with prostrations at his family altar. He represents Bhutan's greatest challenge and greatest hope, how to embrace beneficial aspects of modernity while preserving the wisdom of ages. Story 12. The Future of Happiness. Bhutan stands at a crossroads. The internet has arrived, democracy has been established, and young Bhutanese increasingly travel abroad for education and experience. The challenge is not to resist change but to ensure that change serves happiness rather than replacing it. Hydroelectric projects provide clean energy without damaging the environment. Education expands while maintaining Buddhist principles. Healthcare improves while honoring traditional medicine. This is development with intention, progress with wisdom. In schools throughout Bhutan, children learn computer programming in the morning and traditional crafts in the afternoon. They study global literature while memorizing ancient prayers. They are preparing not just for careers but for lives of meaning, equipped to navigate modernity without losing their souls. As our journey through the kingdom of the Thunder Dragon draws to a close, we carry with us more than memories and photographs. We carry questions that challenge everything we thought we knew about progress, success, and the good life. In Bhutan, we've witnessed a civilization that measures wealth not in possessions but in contentment, success not in individual achievement but in community well-being, progress not in speed but in sustainability. We've seen that it's possible to live in harmony with the earth, to govern with wisdom rather than power, to prioritize being over having. Perhaps most importantly, we've learned that happiness is not a destination but a way of traveling. The Bhutanese haven't discovered some secret formula for utopia, they've simply remembered what the rest of the world seems to have forgotten, that the purpose of life is to live it fully, compassionately, and in connection with something greater than ourselves. As we prepare to leave this mystical kingdom, we take with us the echo of temple bells, the sight of prayer flags dancing against mountain sky, the faces of people who have mastered the art of enough. Bhutan reminds us that in a world obsessed with having more, the greatest luxury might be needing less. This is Bhutan, the last Shangri-La, the kingdom in the clouds, the land of the Thunder Dragon. It exists not just as a place on the map but as a reminder of what human society could be when wisdom guides progress, when happiness measures success, and when the sacred is never separated from the everyday. Until we journey again, may you find your own path to gross national happiness, wherever in the world you may be. If this glimpse into the last Shangri-La has stirred something in your soul, if you're ready to discover what true happiness looks like, then perhaps it's time to plan your own pilgrimage to the kingdom in the clouds. Like this film, if Bhutan has captured your heart, subscribe for more journeys to the world's most extraordinary places, and share with someone who needs to remember that there are still corners of our world where wisdom reigns and happiness is not just possible, it's a way of life. Your next great adventure awaits. The question is, are you ready to answer the call of the Thunder Dragon?